Coming up this morning on Chris 6 Sunrise, House Republicans have given the green light to a bill that would cut $9 billion in federal aid. Scripps News Group Nathaniel Reed will join us from Washington with the very latest on what exactly will be cut.
I'm Stephanie Molina in Kingsville, breaking down what happened as a Mathis man charged in connection to a newborn baby found in a Walmart trash can made a court appearance.
I'm Victoria Valderrama at Lake Corpus Christi in Sandia, where homeowners here are frustrated and speaking out against a growing problem. I'll give you a closer look, and I'll tell you why neighbors want this removed now rather than later.
Good morning, folks. Happy Friday and welcome to Chris 6 Sunrise. You're waking up with the Hoffmans. I'm Michelle Hoffman.
And I'm Brian Hoffman, and it is Friday. Looks like we made it. Proud of you guys. And hey, I'm also proud of Miss Julia Quady for keeping that weather looking pretty sunny. Hey, good morning, Julia. How's it going?
Hey there, good morning. I just want to know, I feel like whenever you're waking up with the Hoffmans, it always involves your shimmy.
Oh, I'm always dancing.
With this Hoffman in particular, we got to be specific.
Hey, we haven't done the Friday dance-off in forever, too, so I feel like I was just feeling it today.
But he does this every day, not just Friday.
Outed me.
Welcome to Chris 6 Sunrise Hoffman Dance.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, like you said, we're expecting sunny conditions in the forecast today and for this upcoming weekend. One small change, though, we'll start to see that Saharan dust exiting the coastal bend. So in replacement of that, we'll be looking at a return of moisture and humidity, and things are going to get a little bit oppressive on that note as we head toward this weekend, too. But we'll get all into that in just a little bit, focusing on that traffic flow right now. You can see things are moving well for the most part, heading on Ocean Drive down to SPID and on Saratoga right now this morning with little to no traffic issues at this time. Moving now towards Flower Bluff, looking at a little bit more of a congestion starting to build throughout portions of Washington Road, so just make sure you keep that in mind if you're going to be heading on that roadway. All clear, though, you start to head towards both directions, though, on Flower Bluff Drive. Then heading on over towards the JFK Causeway, going to and from the island. Again, looking at pretty easy driving conditions right now, heading out the door if you have to head on towards the JFK Causeway right now at this moment. Again, I'll have more details on your Friday and your weekend forecast coming up.
Julia, thank you so much. Appreciate it. We have plenty of neighborhood news to get to, folks. But first, we're going to head to Washington. House Republicans voted early this morning to advance a bill that would approve $9 billion in cuts from the federal government. The cuts recommended by the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, are characterized as a rescission package. That's because it would cancel funding Congress previously approved. The targeted cuts would eliminate about $8 billion from foreign aid programs and another $1 billion from public broadcasting. The foreign aid cuts are part of the Trump administration's effort to dismantle the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, as well as cripple PBS. Scripps News Group Nathaniel Reed will join us at 6:12 with the very latest.
Now, here in your neighborhood, a second arrest has been made in connection with a teen who is accused of leaving a baby in a restroom trash can at a Kingsville Walmart. According to Mathis Police Chief Willie Figueroa, they received a call from the Kingsville Police Department about the situation. They decided to make their own investigation with the Texas Rangers, and Mathis Police Department arrested Mario Duran. Duran is the stepdad of Jerry Martinez, the father of the teen. He's being charged with sexual assault and is currently in San Patricio County Jail. This is an ongoing investigation. No other information has been released so far.
Jerry Lee Martinez appeared before a Clayton County judge Thursday. Police say he is the father of the teen girl investigators believe delivered a baby inside a Walmart restroom Monday. He is charged with abandoning a child, tampering with physical evidence, and tampering with a witness. Kingsville Police Department investigator Selena Tatum testified Martinez is a flight risk and a danger to the community. Defense attorney Christian Pineda says Martinez lives in Mathis and has 9 children, with 6 living in his home. Pineda said in court an ongoing case with CPS could conflict with Martinez's bond conditions. The judge stood firm. Martinez is allowed to stay in his home, but the judge said Martinez is not to have any contact with alleged victims or their families. Kingsville police say the 17-year-old believed to have given birth to the little girl is not in custody but is in a secure location.
Now, folks, you can view the entire hearing for Jerry Martinez on our website, christv.com, or on our Chris 6 YouTube page.
Well, Coastal Bend Judge Mike J. Westergren, known for presiding over the Selena case, has died at 78 years old. Now, Westergren served as a long-respected career. He began practicing law in 1970, actually, and he ran as a Democratic candidate for Congress in the 2018 election, but lost to Representative Michael Cloud. He also ran for Texas Supreme Court back in 2016, but lost to Deborah Lieberman. Westergren served as a district judge, justice of the peace, and Nueces County attorney. Our deepest condolences go out to the Westergren family.
I was here at Barbin Harbor Estates back in November. That's when I learned about the tall grass and trees growing in Lake Corpus Christi. Now I'm back and nothing has been done. Here's what the lake at Pernitas Point looked like in November. A group of more than 20 neighbors in Sandia agree this is a problem. At the head of this, John Aarons says if this isn't fixed now, it could become dangerous when the lake levels rise. Aarons has reached out to Corpus Christi Water to find who would be responsible for this cleanup. I reached out to the city of Corpus Christi to try and find out more information. Drew Molly, Chief Operating Officer for Corpus Christi Water, was unavailable, but in a statement, I'm told, quote, the city of Corpus Christi is aware of the vegetation overgrowth at Lake Corpus Christi and is currently reviewing and evaluating the situation in light of recent drought conditions, end quote.
Hey there, good morning. Happy Friday. We made it to the last day of the work week. The weekend is just around the corner, so we all get a break, heading towards some nice conditions to have any type of activities you want to look forward to for this upcoming weekend, where that means maybe cooking, grilling, heading towards the pool, or heading towards the beach. It's going to be looking really good for all those type of conditions ahead for us for our forecast right now. But let's go ahead and take a look at our Whataburger Field sky cam, pointed over towards the Old Harbor Bridge, where you can make out some of those partly cloudy skies right now. You can see some small hints of that sunrise just starting to begin at this hour. But overall, conditions are off towards a fairly comfortable start for the most part. Seeing those temperatures reaching nearby 74 degrees here in Corpus Christi, 75 over in Beeville, low 80s in Port Aransas and Rockport, 75 degrees waking up for your temperature over in Alice. And across the coastal bend, looking at fairly calm light winds across the area, still having a southeasterly component to them though, so that's going to be connected towards that increase in moisture and humidity that's going to give us more of those oppressive muggy conditions ahead for us today and for this upcoming weekend. Right now, looking at our hour by hour forecast, again starting out with those cloudy to partly cloudy skies, and then seeing some more sunshine coming in later on this morning. Also seeing that increase in our temperatures, eventually reaching towards those mid to upper 80s by midday, and then hitting those lower 90s by lunchtime and after lunchtime. And also with that same time frame, going to see an increase in those wind speeds going towards those double digits by this afternoon too. Overall, looking at mostly sunny conditions by this afternoon. I have a forecast high temperature of 95 degrees here in Corpus Christi, and still looking at hot and breezy conditions still prevailing in the forecast today. Now, we do have that absence of Saharan dust now completely clearing its way out of the coastal bend. Still lingering though over in Houston and throughout portions of northern Texas, but for us here at home, going to have a bit of a break today and ahead for this upcoming weekend, but that Saharan dust is going to return by the time we head towards the late hours on your Sunday, and it's going to continue to flow its way on up across the eastern portions of the state into your Monday. So the return of that Saharan dust means we'll be looking at more dry conditions coming back into the forecast, but with it being absent for now, we will be looking at a return of moisture and humidity coming in with those hues of green coming into the forecast today and all throughout this upcoming weekend. So that means we'll see an increase in our heat risk ahead for this weekend, and hotter feel-like temperatures maybe getting a little bit closer towards that 105 range throughout the next few days before the Saharan dust returns next week.
Well, House Republicans have given the green light to a bill that would cut $9 billion in federal aid from groups like PBS and USAID. Scripps News Group Nathaniel Reed will join us after the break with the latest. Welcome back, folks. It is 6:12 on your Friday morning as we're taking a live look from our studio. Skycam looks gorgeous right now. We're going to be checking in with meteorologist Julie Quaid in just a bit to find out the weather for this weekend. But first, we head to Washington. That's where House Republicans gave the final stamp of approval to advance a bill that would approve $9 billion in cuts from the federal government.
Now, the targeted cuts would eliminate about $8 billion from foreign aid programs and another $1 billion from public broadcasting. To talk more about about this, Scripps News Group Nathaniel Reed joins us this morning. Now, Nathaniel, President Trump is expected to sign the bill. Can you tell us what's on the line?
Yes, he is. And look, this came down to the wire, Brian and Michelle. They only had until midnight tonight to get this bill across the finish line. Ultimately, the House of Representatives and the Senate doing so. The Senate did make some small changes. PEPFAR, the president's program to fund the eradication of AIDS in Africa, originally signed into law by President George W. Bush. That was taken out of this overall package. Senate Majority Leader John Thune saying that he did not want to include that. He was worried that would erode other support from Republicans in the Senate. Ultimately, they removed that, shaving about $400 million or so off of the savings that this package is bringing to the federal government. But again, a lot of USAID programs that once existed, were once funded by the federal government, now formally defunded. They've been de facto in limbo since Elon Musk and the Doge service winded down the agency earlier this year. Also defunded now, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting entirely. They provide funding for NPR and PBS, the bulk of their federal funding. But the national stations get a far smaller percentage of their funding from the federal government than the local stations do. So for, let's say, the local NPR or PBS station in Corpus Christi or other small communities in Texas, they could really be in trouble. This could be the death knell for some of the smallest local public media stations in the country, stations that Democrats warn are vital during massive floods or weather events like what we saw in Texas, where people might tune into NPR, might tune into their local PBS station to try and figure out if there's an evacuation warning or weather concerns. Already the CEO of NPR has said that this will hurt local communities, and that defunding these stations might very well cause some of the smaller stations that don't necessarily have the donor base that a larger city or station might have to cease to exist. A lot of questions about where things go from here. That funding formally clawed back on October 1st.
Well, Nate, thank you so much for shining light on this very important topic.
And we appreciate you taking a look at it and, of course, your continued coverage. We'll talk to you very soon.
Hey there, good morning. Happy Friday. We are so excited that we made it to the end of the work week. We have the weekend coming in right around the corner now at this point. And along with that, we'll look at a bit of a change happening in our forecast. We're saying goodbye to that Saharan dust and hello to more of that moisture and humidity coming back into the mix today. And it's going to continue for your upcoming weekend. Right now, let's go ahead and take a look, though, at our view from Snoopy's Pier, sponsored by CCAC. You can see this morning looking at some small hints of that sunrise starting to begin over in our skies. A little bit of mixture, some cloud cover this morning as well, some partly cloudy skies to take note of, but we will eventually be looking at sunny conditions by the time we head towards this afternoon. Before we go ahead and get into our forecast today, let's quickly take a look what's happening over in the tropics. We were tracking what was Invest 93L that was making its way towards the Louisiana coast, and it had yesterday at one point only a 30% chance of development. It has now fizzled to an amount of nothingness now, just looking at just maybe a couple passing showers, maybe some thunderstorms impacting portions of the Louisiana coastline. But now that system was not able to get its act together to have any formation whatsoever during its journey across the Sunshine State and then making its venture throughout the central Gulf. Now, at this point, we're looking at no tropical development expected over the next 7 days, so things should be quiet for the period of next 7 days at this moment. Let's go ahead and take a look now at our current conditions here at home. We're waking up to temperatures for the most part reaching towards those lower 70s for most inland neighborhoods, lower 80s along the coast, so pretty average conditions right now waking up to get our day started. But by the time we head towards this afternoon, things will quickly start to ramp up with hotter temperatures reaching towards those lower 90s and feel like temperatures well into the triple digits, nearby 103 all throughout this afternoon and heading towards the early evening hours. So expect yet another very hot and humid day now in the coastal bend, especially in the absence of that Saharan dust. So that's why we're going to start to see a bit of an increase of that moisture and humidity that's going to feel pretty heavy and oppressive ahead for us this weekend. Overall in our forecast, going to have an afternoon high temperature of 95 degrees. Again, mostly sunny by this afternoon and still hot and breezy with those winds coming in from the southeast. That's going to offer that increase and push in that moisture coming in from our Gulf waters here into the coastal bend. But right now, looking at our Saharan dust tracker, can see that absence now of that Saharan dust pushing its way throughout portions of Houston and as well as throughout areas in northern Texas. But for us here, having a break of that Saharan dust before it does return ahead for us late on Sunday, then going to linger in the area as we look ahead towards your Monday and your Tuesday. So Only a bit of a small break in relief of those dusty, hazy conditions for now and tomorrow before it's set to return on your Sunday. But again, just a reminder, it's going to be very hot and humid today and tomorrow in the absence of that Saharan dust with that increase in moisture and humidity. So we will be looking at feel-like temperatures also reaching well to those triple digits.
Well, the weekend is almost here, folks, and it might be time to fill up that gas tank. Coming up after the break, I'm going to show you the cheapest prices around town to make your dollar and your car go even further. Alrighty then, folks, it is that time once again. Time to fill up your tank, right? If you might be running on E, don't you worry, because I do have those cheapest prices around town for you to make your dollar and your car go a bit further, right? Let's take a look at the national prices. According to Gas Buddy, average gallon of gas is going to cost you $3.15. That's actually up by about 4 cents since Monday. As for Lone Star State, we're also up by just a little bit. $2.76 is the average there, up by 2 cents since Monday. We can always do better here in the Coastal Bend, though, right, folks? Gotta love Texas. We take a look at Corpus Christi specifically. Third place is the Valero on Ayers and Mansheimer. That is going to be $2.58. Second place, HEB on Alameda and McCall. That's going to be $2.57. And then first place goes the Valero on Gullahart near Garcia Elementary School. That's $2.56. And hey, for our Portland friends, looks like you reign supreme once again. Cheap in Corpus Christi, $2.35 over at the Texan on Buddy Gainen Drive. And by the way, Portland is down by about 20 cents since Monday, so they saw a big drop over there. If you're heading out to the island, though, it looks like prices for the cheapest gas is tied at about half of the stations that I could find, sitting at $2.69. So if you don't see that price right there, might be worthwhile driving a little bit to wait until the next station. As always, if you can find cheaper prices than these guys, definitely stop and fill up and maybe let me know.
All right, now taking outside, looking at our view from our First Community Bank Skycam atop the USS Lexington, we can see traffic flows looking pretty good heading on the new Harbor Bridge, both north and southbound. Not too much of any cars going on by heading northbound on the old Harbor Bridge at this moment, so looking pretty empty there for right now. So either way, heading on new or old Harbor Bridges, looking at easy traffic flow times right now at the moment. Let's go and take a look at the rest of traffic flow maps to get a better idea we expect on other roadways right now throughout the area. Heading on the JFK Causeway on the other side of town, going to and from the island. Again, looking at easy driving conditions with all those shades of green. Moving on over towards Flower Bluff, got a little bit of improvement on Waldron Road over the past few minutes. Now moving more of a medium pace instead of a slower pace at this time. And heading on over to Flower Bluff, easy driving conditions heading on that roadway. And looking at Ocean Drive down to SPID and on Saratoga, all three of those roadways still moving well for us on this Friday morning. More details coming up on your forecast in just a bit.
Kaya Vance is making history in Corpus Christi as the city's first Black and youngest Poet Laureate. I'm Alexis Scott, telling you how he's using the power of poetry to build community.
Now, weather on the 6s.
Hey there, good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome on back. Taking a live view outside at our Snoopy's Pier Skycam sponsored by CCAC, where we can make out some hints of that sunrise beginning right now at this moment and can still see some partly cloudy skies to greet us this morning as well. We will start to see that cloud cover begin to decrease as we head towards the later morning hours and by this afternoon, eventually looking at mostly sunny skies and some more heat and humidity on the way. We'll be looking at a bit of a couple changes coming in the forecast now with that exit of that Saharan dust now leaving our area here in the Coastal Bend. We'll see some moisture and humidity replace that, so that's going to cause our feel-like temperatures to quickly increase for us today and for this upcoming weekend. But let's go ahead and take a look what you can expect in your forecast today at a glance. Right now, again, things are on the cloudy side, but eventually looking at mostly sunny skies with a mix of couple clouds coming in later on this morning and by this afternoon. Still going to be hot and breezy here in the Coastal Bend, looking at those afternoon high temperatures reaching toward those mid to upper 90s by this afternoon. And again, still going to have a decent enough breeze coming in from the southeast with those winds clocking nearby 15, maybe up to 20 miles an hour. And again, that dust is out. Saharan dust is leaving our area here in the Coastal Bend, and what is replacing it is going to be that moisture. So we will see some increase in humidity today and ahead for us tomorrow on your Saturday. So it means things are going to be getting pretty muggy and humid for us here in the Coastal Bend. So we're going to see that kind of happen a little bit by this afternoon. By taking a note at our planner here, we'll start to see still a more cloud cover coming in, because that's also related towards an increase of moisture. So we'll still see some mostly sunny skies by this afternoon. Temperatures reaching nearby 93 degrees at that time, eventually getting closer towards that afternoon high temperature of 95 degrees, then decreasing a bit as we head towards the evening hour towards those lower 90s and then towards those lower 80s by 10 o'clock tonight. Now, looking at our Saharan dust tracker, again, that dust is leaving. It's exiting its way out of the coastal bend. Still kind of lingering, though, in areas nearby Houston and towards northern portions of the Lone Star State. Now, for now, we'll see a break of that Saharan dust continue throughout the first half of your weekend before it is set to return late on Sunday and then linger in throughout the area ahead for us for the start of our work week next week. So that dust is only going to be a bit of a brief pause for us before it comes back very quickly ahead for us next week. Right now, looking at our moisture tracker, we can see with that exiting of that Saharan dust that was going to replace that. It's going to be that moisture coming in, especially thanks to our southeasterly winds and southeasterly flow coming in from the Gulf. So we can see that green coming into the map with that increase in moisture set to last for us today and into tomorrow. But we are going to see that return of yellow, noting that drier air mass will be coming back into the area with the return of that Saharan dust coming in by the time we head towards your Sunday and to your Monday next week. But for now, we'll see the increase in moisture is also going to be attributed towards the increase in our elevation of heat risk and heat danger today and tomorrow, with more of that moisture and humidity coming in. So for today, a mixture of minor to moderate risk of heat danger, more of a moderate risk ahead for us tomorrow on your Saturday, and then that danger is only going to increase as we look ahead towards your Sunday, with more of the coastal bend under the moderate to major risk of heat danger in the forecast. So things will be a bit spicy for us in terms of our forecast for us this weekend. Temperatures still going to reach towards those mid-90s under mostly sunny skies, and we'll also see our feel like temperatures increase a little bit, getting a little bit closer towards near 105 across the area with that heat and humidity on deck. Then again, we'll dry out with that next round of Saharan dust next week.
And you know what? You might need an idea of what to do this weekend with all the sunny weather. So coming up on Sunrise, we have a look at what's going on around town in this week's Coastal Bend Weekend.
Now, the local events and fun things to do. It's Coastal Bend Weekend with the Hoffmans.
It's time to brush off the boredom, because this Coastal Bend Weekend has more hold than extra strength hairspray.
That's right. So stick around. You can't stop the beat because opening weekend of Hairspray is here.
The Harbor Playhouse is bringing the rhythms and moves to the stage in a fabulous production of Hairspray, the Broadway musical.
And they're utilizing some local talent like our own Adam Beam. You can follow the unstoppable Tracy Turnblad as she dances her way into the hearts and history.
Tickets are just $20. You can catch the show every Friday through Sunday now through August 17th.
For a full schedule and more information, visit our website.
And this Saturday in the Bay Area, it's not just a show, it's a WWE Super Show.
The action slams into the American Bank Center at 7:30 p.m., featuring special guest champions ready to shake the ring. Tickets available online.
This Coastal Bend weekend, Robstown is the place to be for shopping and fun. On Saturday, the Bird Post Marketplace hosts its July Farmer and Artesian Market at 15210 Northwest Boulevard.
That goes on from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can enjoy live music, food trucks, and vendors featuring local goods.
Sunday also brings market days at the Crossroads. Organizers promise great food, unique boutiques, sweet treats, live entertainment, and activities for the kiddos.
This one's from noon to 5 p.m.
And finally, Lego lovers, this one's for you.
The newly assembled Corpus Christi Lego Club is building momentum and having a blockbusting meeting over at the Tronics Repair and Games.
It's happening this Sunday from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. You can snap together some fun, trade pieces, and stack up new friendships.
Basically everything and any theme that anybody can come up with, if you can make it in Lego, we want to see it. And we have a lot of expert builders that build stuff out of this world.
Hey folks, if you need more help building up your list of events happening this weekend, you can always visit our website, christv.com. And that's because we've compiled a list of even more events we didn't have time for.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, folks, if you want to see your event on a future Coastal Bend Weekend segment, you can always send us a message.
Hey there, good morning. Happy Friday. So heading out the door, you're going to see a little bit passing clouds as we've seen every morning for us here in the coastal bend so far this week. And what's going to be a bit of a difference, though, that Saharan dust is gone. It's out of our area here in the coastal bend, but what's going to replace it is more moisture. So that's going to lead to more humid conditions ahead for us today and for this upcoming weekend. So right now, taking a look at our planner here, we'll see an increase in those temperatures reaching toward those mid to upper 80s by 10 o'clock this morning, heading towards those 90s by this afternoon at 2. And we'll also see an increase in our wind speeds going back up towards those double digits, nearby 15 miles an hour throughout the afternoon hours, and we'll see a decrease in those temperatures reaching toward those lower 80s by 10 o'clock this evening. Now, with the increase of that moisture and humidity ahead for us today and tomorrow and your Saturday, that's going to mean things are going to be feeling pretty oppressive out there, so just make sure you're practicing extra caution for any outdoor activities for your weekend. Feel like temperatures will be reaching towards those triple digits, nearby 105 degrees over the course of our weekend, but this rebound of moisture is going to be a bit short-lived. We will have a return of Saharan dust, meaning drier air coming back to the forecast by next week, so things will start to dry out with more sunny conditions expected into next week.
From Chris 6, this is 20 minutes of non-stop news.
Welcome back, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for our 20 minutes of non-stop news. I'm Brian Hoffman.
And I'm Michelle Hoffman. We'll check in with meteorologist Julia Quady in just a bit. But first, a second arrest has been made in connection with a teen who's accused of leaving a baby in a restroom trash can at a Kingsville Walmart. According to Mathis Police Chief Willie Figueroa, they received a call from the Kingsville Police Department about the situation. They decided to make their own investigation with the Texas Rangers, and Mathis Police Department arrested Mario Duran. Duran is the stepdad of Jerry Martinez, the father of the teen. He's being charged with sexual assault and is currently in San Patricio County Jail. And folks, this is an ongoing investigation. No other information has been released.
Jerry Lee Martinez appeared before a Clearwater County judge Thursday. Police say he is the father of the teen girl investigators believe delivered a baby inside a Walmart restroom Monday. He is charged with abandoning a child, tampering with physical evidence, and tampering with a witness. Kingsville Police Department investigator Selena Tatum testified Martinez is a flight risk and a danger to the community. Defense attorney Christian Pineda says Martinez lives in Mathis and has 9 children, with 6 living in his home. Pineda said in court an ongoing case with CPS could conflict with Martinez's bond conditions. The judge stood firm. Martinez is allowed to stay in his home, but the judge said Martinez is not to have any contact with alleged victims or their families. Kingsville police say the 17-year-old believed to have given birth to the little girl is not in custody but is in a secure location.
I was here at Barben Harbor Estates back in November. That's when I learned about the tall grass and trees growing in Lake Corpus Christi. Now I'm back and nothing has been done. Here's what the lake at Pernitas Point looked like in November. A group of more than 20 neighbors in Sandia agree this is a problem. At the head of this, John Aarons says if this isn't fixed now, it could become dangerous when the lake levels rise. Aarons has reached out to Corpus Christi Water to find who would be responsible for this cleanup. I reached out to the city of Corpus Christi to try and find out more information. Drew Molly, Chief Operating Officer for Corpus Christi Water, was unavailable, but in a statement, I'm told, quote, the city of Corpus Christi is aware of the vegetation overgrowth at Lake Corpus Christi and is currently reviewing and evaluating the situation in light of recent drought conditions, end quote.
Alrighty, good morning, happy Friday. Taking a live look outside of our SPID sky cam. Right now we can see a little bit of those cloudy conditions still sticking around our skies right now for this morning before things start to get a little bit more sunny later on this morning and heading towards the afternoon. Traffic flow is moving pretty well. Maybe it's starting to get a little bit more busy though, heading in both directions there on SPID. Let's go and take a look at the rest of the traffic flow map, see what you can expect on other roadways right now heading out the door. Looking at clear driving conditions on Ocean Drive and on SPID down to Saratoga as well this morning. Heading on over towards Flower Bluff, we see things are moving well and have some improvement actually on Wadsworth Road. Things were a little bit more of a medium pace throughout some portions of it in the past few minutes, but some improvement now. Things are still moving well. Heading on over towards Flower Bluff. A little bit of a slow speed though, as per usual at this time. Getting a little bit closer towards the gate at NAS Corpus Christi. Then heading on towards the JFK Causeway, going to and from the island. Again, looking at pretty easy and nice driving conditions for your Friday morning commute. That's it for your traffic. More details on your forecast coming up.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
All right, folks, and 6 things you need to know before you head out the door. House Republicans voted early this morning to advance a bill that would approve $9 billion in cuts from the federal government.
Now, the cuts recommended by the Department of Government Efficiency are characterized as rescissions package. That's because it would cancel funding Congress previously approved. The targeted cuts would eliminate about $8 billion from foreign aid programs and another $1 billion from public broadcasting. The foreign aid cuts are part of the Trump administration's effort to dismantle the U.S. Agency for International Development.
Well, House Republicans also advancing a non-binding resolution that calls for the release of Jeffrey Epstein-related materials. Some GOP members are demanding transparency about the case. Epstein was a convicted sex offender, and rumors circulated that he had a client list of celebrities and politicians, including President Trump. The administration says he died by suicide in jail in 2019 while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced last week that Epstein did not have a client list and says the multimillionaire took his own life and was not murdered.
A court hearing is scheduled today in a lawsuit brought on by Planned Parenthood against the Trump administration. The organization is suing the federal government over access to Medicare payments for abortions, cancer screenings, birth control, and more. The funding was slashed in the president's Big Beautiful Bill legislation that was signed into law on the 4th of July, and Planned Parenthood argues that the change will have severe adverse effects on the health and welfare of at least 1 million patients.
Well, a second arrest has been made in connection with the baby found in a trash can in a Walmart in Kingsville. According to Mathis Police Chief Willie Figueroa, they received a call from the Kingsville Police Department about the situation. They then decided to make their own investigation with the Texas Rangers. Mathis Police Department arrested Mario Duran in San Patricio County Jail in connection with the case. Duran is a stepdad, of course, of Jerry Martinez. He's the father of the baby. He's being charged with sexual assaults. This is an ongoing investigation, and so far, no other information has been released.
Physicians Premier on Saratoga is expanding. Work began Thursday on a new addition to the Southside location, and the expansion will add about 2,000 square feet to Physician Premier's office. They currently have 7 beds, and once the construction is finished, it will add 3 more spaces for patients. The project is expected to be finished in a month.
Well, neighbors are invited to Corpus Christi Parks and Recreation Cinema in the Park. Bring your family along with your fur baby to Lindale Park on Saturday. Check out a special screening of Moana 2. Admission is free. Blankets and lawn chairs are definitely allowed. Arrive early for giveaways, and there will be plenty of food and drinks available for purchase, too. Lindale Park is located at 3133 Swantner Drive.
Hey there, good morning, happy Friday, and we made it to the end of the work week, heading towards the weekend, beginning of course tomorrow. Now along with that change now coming, we're looking at a bit some changes coming into the forecast as well. That Saharan dust is now exiting out of the coastal bend, so what's going to replace that is going to be more moisture and humidity, making some for oppressive conditions ahead for us today and for this weekend. But let's go ahead and take a look right now, looking at our view from Snoopy's Pier, sponsored by CCAC, where you can see a bit of a mix of some cloud cover still hanging out in our skies this morning, with that sunrise beginning right now at this moment. Now things are going to warm up for us significantly as we head towards this afternoon. I'll get into more what you can expect in your forecast for today and for this weekend in just a few moments. First, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in the tropics. We were tracking what was Invest 93L that made its way, tracking beginning on the eastern side of the Sunshine State, then tracking westward, and then made its way towards the Louisiana coast with only a 30% chance of formation over the last 2 or 3 days or so. Now that system has completely disintegrated, just looking at an area of now a couple stray showers and thunderstorms impacting again the Louisiana coast. So that system just really had a hard time getting its act together to really get more organized, and it essentially just didn't really get this chance to do so. So over the next 7 days, we are looking at no expected tropical development, so things should be quiet for us here in the tropics over the next few days. For us here at home, things are just going to get continuously hot and sunny here in the coastal bend to end our work week and as we head toward this upcoming weekend. Looking at our current temperatures and feel like temperatures reaching toward those lower 70s across most of our neighborhoods. Areas that are heading towards those 80s are just mostly along the coast, including Rockport, Port Aransas, and over in the Bluff. Now, in terms of what else you can expect for our heat, things are going to increase, especially with that moisture and humidity at play. So we will be reaching towards those lower 90s, eventually mid 90s by this afternoon, with feel like temperatures well into those triple digits, nearby 105 degrees potentially for some neighborhoods over the course of our afternoon. So for our forecast today, again, looking at a forecast high temperature of 95 degrees here in Corpus Christi, looking at mostly sunny skies, but again, still hot and breezy here for us in the coastal bend, still seeing those winds coming in anywhere between 15 up to 20 miles an hour. But looking at Saharan dust tracker, we can see that Saharan dust has exited its way out of the coastal bend, still impacting portions of Houston and northern Texas. But for us here at home, we're in the clear. No more Saharan dust for us for now this weekend before we start to look ahead towards the start of next week with another round of Saharan dust is going to make its way across the area. So only going to have a bit of a brief period of this moisture increase in store for us today and for your Saturday and throughout portions of your Sunday. That's when we'll start to see that oppressive heat really start to settle on in, making for an increase of our heat danger and heat risk ahead for us for the next 3 days. But then with the Saharan dust returning in the forecast next week, we'll dry out.
Popular Alice spot, the District Grub and Social, is shutting down after storm damage. Some sad news for food lovers in Alice. The district is closing up shop for good at the end of July. This local hangout has been hit hard by that nasty storm back on May 8th. The damage to their building was pretty serious, and despite trying to make it work, owner Rick Medina just couldn't keep things going while waiting for repairs.
Customers here tell me they'll support the owner in his future endeavors, and they want you to know if you haven't already eaten the food, get here fast before they close for good. In Alice, I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter, Press 6 News.
Hey everyone, let me tell you about Kaya Vance. He's Corpus Christi's first black and youngest Poet Laureate. It's a title given to Kaya by Mayor Paulette Guajardo. And at just 24 years old, Kaya is using the new title to inspire other artists. He co-founded Word of Mouth, a local group that hosts open mics and live events to do just that. He's also part of a band called Moon Jazz that performs across the city. As Poet Laureate, Kaya hopes to change how art is seen and experienced here in Corpus Christi. If you want to support Kaya and learn more about his work, we'll have details on KrisTV.com.
Well, Chris 6 News and the United Way of the Coastal Bend are once again teaming up for Operation SOS, or Supply Our Students. But we need your help to collect school supplies for more than 22,000 students, folks. On Monday, July 21st, we're going to be over at the Sinton ISD for the kickoff of Operation SOS. And we'll be at different schools throughout the week, too. A total of 43 public school districts in 10 coastal Bend counties will receive school supplies. Those supplies will go to students in need to make sure that they have the tools they need for a successful school year.
Now, with rising prices and looming tariffs, many parents plan to start their back-to-school shopping early this year. Scripps News Group consumer reporter John Matarese has a look at where the best deals are right now.
Back to school time is almost here, but with today's uncertain economy, a lot of parents are watching their spending carefully. So we wanted to know, will you have to pay more for your supplies this year?
Like so many parents in recent years,
you like the camo?
Cassie Owens realizes inflation has taken a bite out of her back-to-school budget.
A little bit more than I like, obviously, but seems like the prices have kind of steadied out over time.
Nicole Gresham was pleasantly surprised at prices on notebooks and folders this year.
I think the prices are good. Yeah, these are 54 cents, so I think that's pretty fair nowadays in 2025.
That's no accident. Both Walmart and Target announcing they're holding prices on hundreds of school items at last year's level.
Over 100 items under $1 and over 1,000 under $5.
Walmart's Jana Hill says among the deals,
you're looking at $1 for the pencils and the ruler.
And superhero backpacks for under $15. Nearly half of respondents to consulting firm Deloitte's recent back-to-school survey say they plan to spend the most at mass retailers. That's up 15% year over year. Brian McCarthy, who heads the firm's retail strategy, says economic concerns have parents seeking value, with 75% saying they're willing to switch to more affordable brands.
Economic expectations and household financial positions have really dipped to the lowest level we've seen in really the past 5 years. What this means is parents are pulling back in all categories except clothing and accessories.
Parents also say they'll trim their personal budgets so they can buy school essentials. So if you hit the stores now, you may be pleasantly surprised, like teacher Judy Johns.
Composition notebooks at 50 cents each. That's a good find.
And that way you don't waste your money. John Matteries, Scripps News Group.
All right, folks, on to what's trending, and it's a pretty cool topic. Millions of people are getting ready to take a bite out of Shark Week. The Discovery Channel's ever-popular Shark Week programming, well, that run starts on Sunday, folks. A string of shows is a cultural phenomenon that is now in its 37th year. This year, the event will premiere 20 hours of new shows. That includes a Dancing with Sharks special and one titled Frankenshark. Oh, we're totally watching that one, by the way. There are also practical shows ahead of your next trip to the beach, like How to Survive a Shark Attack and other scientific programs, too. You can head to sharkweek.com for a full lineup. And hey, right here at home, the Texas State Aquarium is also commemorating the event with a presentation by Dr. Kelsey Banks next Friday. Dr. Banks works over at the Heart Research Institute over at TAMUCC, and we'll talk about the movie Jaws, what it gets right, what it gets wrong, and everything about sharks. You can stop on by the Texas State Aquarium next Friday from 11:30 to 1 to see what she has to say. I love the shark exhibit at the aquarium, by the way.
Yeah.
It's so cool out there.
No, I've been enjoying the nature documentaries, especially through TikTok. Like all the animal feeds, like I love seeing it because it's so interesting. There's so many animals you don't even know about.
But you always go back to the pandas.
Oh, sorry. I was asking, what's the history of Shark Week? Like, why is it a thing? How did it start becoming a thing?
You know, we're going to learn during Shark Week why that's the thing. We're not experts, but we have some handy and ready. So stay tuned, Julia.
I'm screaming, so you can let me know that.
Yeah, we're
we'll
actually
let you
planning
know.
on maybe having a live shot next week, too. We're trying to set things together, so we will answer that question for you.
Okay, all right. I'll be waiting on pins and needles. I'm waiting for it. But actually, in terms of our conditions here, I feel like it matches well a little bit with Shark Week. Things are going to be really hot and spicy for us here in the Coastal Bend, making for perfect beach or pool conditions, whatever's your fancy there. And for any outdoor activities, things are going to be feeling definitely like summer here in the Coastal Bend, as we will be looking at hotter temperatures on the way, especially with things feeling a bit more humid in the absence of that Saharan dust. But right now, taking a look at our Whataburger Field sky cam pointed over towards both of our harbor bridges, we can make out hints of that sunrise behind those kind of mostly cloudy skies right now. We're eventually going to start to see some partly cloudy conditions, eventually sunny skies as we head towards this afternoon. But right now, looking at a little bit more cloud cover, which is to be expected, of course, with that increase of moisture and humidity coming back into the mix. We'll also see that reflected in our skies with a little bit more clouds coming into the area. So right now, taking a look at our temperatures, I feel like temperatures, things are reaching towards those low to mid 70s for inland neighborhoods, reaching towards those lower 80s for areas that are closer towards the coast, like Port Aransas and over in the Bluffs. So pretty much of a decent start for us this morning before things are going to quickly increase in terms of that heat and humidity as we head towards this afternoon. Let's go ahead and get into what that means for your dog walking forecast. First, introducing our star for today. We have Annabelle, maybe expecting some nice conditions heading out the door for her dog walk today, and Annabelle is right to have those expectations, but I think Annabelle, maybe her person, might want to head out the door and get that dog walk done earlier rather than later, because especially with those temperatures increasing by this afternoon, I feel like temperatures well into those triple digits, maybe approaching nearby 105. It's going to be making for a bit of some oppressive heat in store for us later on today, so you may want to get that done this morning while temperatures are still reaching towards those upper 70s to lower 80s across the morning. Then of course by lunchtime, things are going to already beginning to start to feel a little bit more oppressive, reaching towards those temperatures already into those lower 90s. Still have a decent enough breeze though that will also increase throughout the day, eventually reaching towards those double digits by the time we head towards the afternoon hours as well. Looking at our forecast overall today, going to have a high temperature, 95 degrees here in Corpus Christi. Again, eventually looking at mostly sunny skies, while we all are starting our morning, though, on those cloudier conditions for now before that sunshine comes in later on today. Still going to be a hot and breezy day with those winds, as we saw, going in towards those double digits by the time we head towards this afternoon, helping us out with that increase in moisture that's going to come into the area with the absence of that Saharan dust. Now it's moving its way out of our area. So right now, things are clear. No more Saharan dust for us here in the coastal bend. Still impacting, though, portions of the Lone Star State, nearby Houston, as well throughout portions of northern Texas, as that Saharan dust pushes its track further up north. So for us here in the coastal bend, with that again moving out of our area, with the increase of that moisture and humidity, causing our feel like temperatures to increase nearby that 105 range, making for oppressive heat that we're going to be feeling for us today, tomorrow, and on your Sunday. So we'll also see an increase of our heat risk going nearby towards that moderate to major risk. So just make sure for those outdoor activities this weekend, still practice some heat safety to keep yourself safe. But that moisture rebound is only going to be lasting for a few short days this weekend, as the Saharan dust is going to rebound and come back into our area for next week. So we'll be drying out, the dry conditions on the way
It's
again.
going to be hot, but our kind of weather, right?
I'm happy. No complaints from me. Y'all know.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in on this Friday, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your day and an even better weekend.
Bye.